Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Crypto Ginger here. I just wanted to briefly go over some information that I found very intriguing when it comes to this more recently circulating article through ripplenews.tech talking about how Ripple set to overtake gold by 2019. Now, mind you, I understand that there have been other content creators that have talked about this. What I wanted to emphasize really quickly, though, is that this is actually not brand new. This is information that's been talked about for quite some time by Ripple, especially earlier in the year 2018. And of course, in this particular article here, just to kind of give you a quick synopsis, Ripple has created this thing called a gateway. They named it eMetals. And they've also partnered with a group called BPG Group, which basically allows them to trade cryptocurrencies against precious metals IOUs through BPG Group. Those IOUs, which are just in the form of tokens, you can do with gold and silver, and of course, a couple of additional other types of precious metals just as well. Now, these IOUs will eventually be able to be allowed to be traded for something tangible such as gold through the BPG Group itself. But again, all this different types of transactions are going to take place on the gateway that Ripple created, and that actually has a very key importance there when it comes to how this is all going to work and how this could eventually lead Ripple to not just only take over the gold market, but eventually the entire precious metals market altogether. Now, a couple things here. This right here is BPG's website. This is to kind of explain to you that this is a real legitimate group. This is one of the sectors that they actually have when it comes to their business structure. This is just simply focusing on the precious metal refining section. They have one that I believe is dealing with recycling. So who knows, maybe that's something they could later on get into the blockchain network as well. But again, we're just simply dealing with their precious metals refinery group. If you go to their website, you can kind of read a little bit more about them. And as well here, you can see in bold lettering that their IOUs that we just talked about, those tokens, they are not cryptocurrencies. And also they're issued on that platform and they're redeemable for fungible assets, again, gold. Something else here, you can see their connection with Ripple. And as well, you can see that they have a vault or a couple vaults in Europe with level 9 securities. And if you're not satisfied with that, you can go through their alternatives, which are just simply other places listed in London or Shanghai, Hong Kong, Toronto, Singapore, New York. So they have a pretty wide stretch as far as where they're going to store valuables just as well. But again, you have a pretty big name here as far as the precious metals refinery scene getting involved with Ripple the company. And when I mentioned that this right here is not actually brand new, I looked a little bit further into this here and I found an article dated about 7 months ago talking about how Ripple XRP to be used in trading physical metals. And of course, you can see here they're just emphasizing a little bit in regards to this eMetals platform, this gateway again that I just explained that Ripple created there to work with BPG Group. So again, this has been talked about in the earlier part of 2018. I just find it fascinating that we're now hearing about it. And why I personally believe we're hearing about it is because of news such as this. Former JP Morgan trader pleads guilty to manipulating U.S. metals market for years. So when you have information coming out from the stock side of things dealing with the precious metals market and the amount of manipulation that has been going on for years through a big entity such as JP Morgan, I would imagine that kind of scare with investors who are in that particular market there, the precious metals market, they're going to want to use something that Ripple has to offer when it comes to keeping their cryptocurrency safe and of course dealing with the BPG Group, for example. But the BPG Group, I would guess, is just simply one of the different types of groups that could actually get involved with Ripple the company. So again, Ripple could potentially set themselves up to be a big global company when it comes to the precious metals market. Now, a couple other things I wanted to go into really quickly here. For example, if you go to ecovine.com, you can actually get a general idea of how the eMetals Ripple Gateway works. To give a quick synopsis here stating that eMetals platform is an alternative way to invest in and trade physical metals. It aims to provide the investment performance of the standard metal markets with transparency of an exchange-traded security. As a precious metal refinery, we see big potential in Ripple Consensus Ledger and the conversion of rights to metals into digital tokens, IOUs, on the Ripple network. So the key thing to take away from here is that yes, all of this will be done on that gateway from Ripple, but it'll be actually resolved through the Ripple network. And of course, if you wanted to check out a little bit more about this particular gateway and maybe even set yourself up with a gateway wallet to start off, you can most certainly check out this link, thegatehub.net, and I'll try to leave a link in the description for this here. Now, of course, on the eCovine, there's quite a bit more information here as far as what this particular link is about, and it explains the e-metals, the digital metals, their business model, and of course different types of questions they have asked. Now, linking this to that GateHub wallet, if you go to gatehub.net, you can easily see that we have the wallet section of that site. It goes into some details here as far as like the analytics, how to get yourself set up with a wallet, and of course how to do instant payments and send payments. You can see here that they have several options for sending payments. You have instant, which is with the XRP, EU bank, and of course your regular bank if you're outside of EU. Now, two things I wanted to point out. Oh, here you can actually do trading as well. That's one of the primary things to get yourself from your cryptocurrencies into those precious metals IOU tokens. Something I found interesting though, it says trade currencies and cryptocurrencies directly on the Ripple network. We just talked about that. And then of course, with that emphasized, it says here, payments are sent instantly via the network and can be automatically exchanged to any currency on the fly and at the best possible rate. Now, I'm bringing this up because all of this is actually going to be done on the Ripple network. I think that that's another step in the right direction for Ripple, because they are working, at least with this gateway here, with several different types of cryptocurrencies and several different types of precious metal IOU tokens. So the first thing I wanted to quickly highlight on is the information about the gold reserve. And looking on Wikipedia, you can see that the World Gold Council estimates that all the gold ever mined totaled 187,200 metric tons in 2017. Again, this is just estimated from last year's information there about gold. It also states that as of last year, 2017, on August 16th, 1 troy ounce of gold was going for roughly $1,250, which meant that 1 ton of gold was actually going for $40 million US. That actually, with the valuation that was based out of 2017, meant that all the gold ever mined would exceed roughly $7.5 trillion. If you think about it, this particular market, and of course at the beginning of the video when I specified that article stating how Ripple could overcome the actual gold market there in 2019, think about how much money that would mean would go into XRP alone, just using a gateway such as what Ripple created there, the e-metals gateway. $7.5 trillion eventually going into XRP. That's an absurd number. I can't even think about things like that, and I don't even want to speculate that would be something that would happen there. I would imagine that it would be diversified in multiple different types of platforms or different types of cryptocurrencies outside of XRP. But man, even a tenth of that value there of $7.5 trillion going into XRP, that's roughly around $750 billion, putting us at about, I think, a $17 XRP coin. That's insanity. So again, I think that when we hear about this kind of information, we see really what we're dealing with on a large scale with the gold reserve and the value of the gold reserve. It really changes the perspective of what Ripple is trying to do there, what they're trying to accomplish when it comes to this little gateway. And think about the idea of this gateway here being expanded upon through other companies, other partnerships that want to use this and take advantage of that as well, and incorporate their precious metals into the Ripple network. Again, it's just something that I have a hard time fathoming right now, just simply because I don't know what kind of money that would look like, because we don't know how it's going to be diversified into the Ripple network there. I definitely think that XRP is going to outshine Bitcoin. And the last thing I wanted to end on here was this article that talks about Shapeshift CEO Eric Voorhees believes crypto will soar when fiat is doomed. Now, outside of its obviousness, I think that there's quite a bit of underlying truth here with what he states in this article, because he goes over things that I've talked about in the past. Many other people have talked about it as well when it comes to the monetary system. When the Federal Reserve creates fiat currencies out of nowhere, it inflates that fiat currency to the point that it no longer has the same value as to what it was before. And we have seen this in Venezuela, we've seen it in Turkey, where their fiat currency became so inflated that you had family members taking wheelbarrows of money to grocery stores just to buy a loaf of bread and milk. So when we see that kind of negative impact happening with fiat currencies, again, because of the Federal Reserve, it would obviously have some sort of negative impact on the entire ecosystem. And once that happens, either people are going to shift their wealth into something that's a better safe haven, such as gold, or better yet, even the cryptocurrency market just as well. Since it's brand new, I understand people are a little bit hesitant to get into this market. They're going to wait it out to see. But when you start seeing these particular developments that Ripple is taking on, such as, getting themselves invested into the precious metals market like they have been, and more specifically, they are dealing with the XRP coin being paired to so many different types of these precious metals right now, at least the IOU tokens. This could lead into something even bigger for Ripple. At that point in time, not only will cryptocurrency soar, but XRP will possibly just simply decouple itself from all those other coins, especially Bitcoin, and hit the rank of number one right off the bat. Think about that gold reserve value there. Even if a tenth of that $7.5 trillion gets put into XRP, for example, I know that's a large sum of money, but that's $750 billion. That means that your XRP coin automatically goes to about $17 in value there. That's just using a tenth of the gold reserve value there. So keep all that in mind. I know that this right here seems a little bit exaggerated, and of course some people have stated that when I go into these little rabbit holes I can be over speculating, but I think that we're onto something when we see this information here and we're seeing what Ripple is absolutely trying to do. Definitely leave in the comment section your logical ideas as to what's happening here. Am I wrong on this? Am I right? Do you think that I'm onto something here? And of course, if you know something that I don't, definitely let me know in the comment section. I love the dialogue that you guys are having, and of course I like kind of keeping up with this information as well. You guys are teaching me a lot just as well. So thank you again, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day. And hey, if you enjoyed what you saw, please hit that like button. It definitely helps get this information out there to as many people as we possibly can. And also share this content out with everybody. And if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. This channel has been growing by leaps and bounds, and I could not have done it without you guys. If you really want to help this channel grow, please donate to my Patreon page. Even $1 a month would be amazing and would absolutely go right into my channel to make it more professional for you guys and allow me to create even more content. Thanks again for watching, guys, and have a wonderful day.